This is a monumental occasion. It is the first piece of metal on this building. This is a piece of F&J channel trim. It's for the soffit to slide in here, and then the siding to slide up into that pocket. So I'm going to start installing it and hope things go well. Join me. I don't know why I say that all the time. It's a little windy. This is a tiny little screw. Hopefully it stays on the end of my thing. Oh yeah, good. Whoa! There goes my hat. No, is that my bit? This is like a T10 bit. How am I supposed to find that? Got some soffit here too. How exciting is that? Tried to put up a couple panels and I took them back down. The reason being is this soffit nailer right here, this 2x4, oh, I got a level up there, has a pretty significant bow out. So even this piece right here is like an 1/8 out of that thing, and it's gonna cause issues, I feel like. So I'm going to try to pull it in somehow. That's better. Probably just do one piece of soffit at a time. In hindsight, maybe I should have like really paid attention to what boards I was choosing for those individual nailers, soffit nailers, and the fascia for that matter, but. Okay, so one panel connected to the other. This actually slides in here right at the seam, so I think I am doing it right. And it looks good there, but now I see that this needs to get pushed apart again. So I will get my piece of resistance. And it's not much, so I don't need to go very much because this is supposed to be a 1/2 inch, or this is supposed to be 12 inches. So I like that right there. I'm gonna put a screw in. I don't know how often I'm supposed to put a screw in, so just doing it. Maybe over time it'll be less or more, we'll see. Ow! These tiny screws though are literally gonna kill me. Okay, looking good, nice and tight. On to the next piece. Every time that screw pops off the bit, I jam it into my finger. Really annoying. Look at that. And there's another hole in my finger. Okay, how am I gonna do this? That was my other bit. Lost all my bits. So we are resorting to, not maybe resorting, but we're testing out a narrow crown stapler with galvanized staples. So wish me luck on that one. I think it's gonna be fantastic. Great right there. Okay. In. It's tight. Okay. I mean, at that point, I could do them all. Not the seams, though. Wow, okay, awesome. Make sure that's nice and lined up and square. I like that right there. We got a little bit of soffit down one side. I'm really excited about that. I just need to keep going. The downhill slide. I'm on the downhill slide. I'm so excited to be on the downhill slide. If you're even still watching, you're probably wondering to yourself, do you think he would recommend building his own building? I don't know yet. But I'm leaning towards still yes. Most of that is due to the cost savings, and I think at the end of all of this, I'm going to get into that. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, that's true. Self-satisfaction. Other than 30% of it, I did it all. 30% all the time. Oh, and 1% for Dad. He just sat down, but I'm going so fast. Now he has to get up so I can move my ladder instead of me walking down 10 rungs and moving it myself. That's servanthood right there. Maybe get the other piece of trim because we'll need that. Oh man, there's so many things that we need. We're gonna literally get one piece up and then we should probably go to bed. That's the bottom. This is the top. They have a grippy on the bottom that you peel and stick. Look at that. I think it's pretty nice. Look at that.
Push it up as far as you can.
Yeah. What in the world? I'm literally on a screw.
Yeah, that would do it.
Like the one screw that I used. Got it?
Uh-huh.
I'm pulling faster than you are, I think. There we go. Let me reset here.
Okay.
Oh! My tails. Okay, ready? Okay, at this point, yeah. Is that sheet of plywood in the way?
Yeah. I didn't know that I'm over far enough. Yeah, it's in the way. I'll move it.
Okay. So this is where it's important that it's an inch on both sides. And perfect. It's a rainy day, it's cold. We have one sheet up. One. That was a struggle. Dad and I did that alone. I don't have any heavy machinery. I'm not renting anything for heavy machinery to lift up the panels or move them around or anything like that. We've got the scaffolding on the outside. We built this ramp situation that kind of worked to like shove the sheet up that direction. I think with more people it'll help, but it's a pretty simple setup, and I think it did kind of work. I've got a few people today, my dad and my two brothers. We'll see how far we get. Maybe it's not that far, maybe it's only like 5 sheets or something, but overall I'm pretty pleased in the timing of things. I'm not out here every day. Sometimes it seems like I'm out here every night, but this is a big building. It's the biggest thing I've ever built. And so to build it alone, and when it's all finally done, alone, I mean with friends, but to build it on our own, it's a big task. And so when it's finally done, it's gonna be pretty awesome to say, you know, we built this by ourselves. And again, for all those out there that are wanting to do something like this but don't know if they have the know-how, I would say just start. Just start somewhere. And the heavy machinery stuff, like, it'd be great to have lifts and scissor lifts and lulls and stuff like that to lift everything up and move it around, but in the end, like, I just don't have that, and I don't have the resources to pay to rent those things. At some point, yeah, time is money, and you just need to rent the machines and get it done. But in my case, this is a hobby at the moment, so time is not money for me, and but time is family, and so I'm trying to do a good job of balancing family and working on this shop. But my wife is super gracious, taking care of 3 kids, 3 very small kids, to let me come out here as often as I can and do this as a hobby. So thank you, Danny. I love you. We got one side on the other day into the night. Well, it was like 5. Anyway, there's another side. We're gonna get that done. Last night, Dad and I put the trim on this side so that it is already there and we don't have to worry about that as we go along. But we'll drag the scaffolding over here, get that set, and then just start getting sheets up and going. My hope for today is to get this other side on and maybe some trim, but if we just get the big sheets on, I can do the trim later. Nighttime again. Here we go. All right, last night we got this house wrap on. So one gable to do, about 2 feet on each side, and then we will tape the seams and call the house wrap done. One step closer to the side walls. Once I get all of the screws in the roof, like I said, then I'm gonna start on the ridge cap. So once the ridge cap is done, the roof is done, the soffit's done, the trim all the way around the roof is done, and hopefully I don't have to go up there again. Not that it's like crazy high, but 12 feet's pretty high. And I am wearing a safety harness. I'm tied off to the truss. It makes me feel a little bit safer, so that's good. Screwing the roof is very nerve-wracking. If you miss a purlin, then you have a hole in your roof and you have to figure it out. If I do miss a screw, then I'll probably go up in the underside and put a scrap piece of 2x4 on the purlin and then screw into that from the roof so that the washer is doing its job on top of the roof. Hopefully I don't do that, or maybe I should say hopefully I don't have to do too many of those. So the screw that I missed was right there. And Dad decided to hold a block on the end of a stick or something with painter's tape, which was genius, except for now that tape is gonna be there forever. And he said it was a reminder to not miss any more screws. And so I missed another one. And I think I have one over here somewhere. Yeah. If there's anything that I'm not telling you that you want to know more about, then leave a comment below. That's how I can help you in your situation, and you guys can help me in the next time I build a building like this or just general information. We learn from each other, and so let's continue. Always learning, because that's what we do best. One more thing. This is the seam tape that I'm using. Hopefully they're good. Also, what a beautiful day. It's Wednesday, November 29th, and it's gonna be like over 50 today. So I took the day off of work, and I'm here to work because that's what I do. When I'm not working, I'm still working. And when I'm not working at my job and not working here, then I'm with my kids, which is also great. I love them.
Hi, I have a rock. It's a mud rock. I can break it.
Aren't you gonna introduce yourself?
My name is Ben.
Nephew. Let's get this stuff going. And my tie off is over there, so hopefully I don't fall between now and then. But I've always got my dad to catch me, which will be way worse than if I just fall into the ground. OSHA approved, probably not, but here we go anyway. Okay. All right, so what's left in the shop? First, garage door. Yeah, you gotta have one of those. That's right here. Second, windows. We have 7 windows. And then the walk door. Also the siding, trim around the windows, the bolts. Talked about the bolts that I failed the inspection on before. Let's get this thing finished. Yes! Oh, getting ahead of myself. We'll get there, okay? We'll get there. Stay with me. Let's get this walk door installed. Let's finish it out. Finish, I don't know what finish means. All right, so windows today. We're gonna install maybe all of the windows. Then they'll be done and I can start trimming around them, whatever this is. I'm gonna start with this window over here, so let's get started. I don't have any tools. All right, one window in. On to the next. Later we'll come around with trim that out. All right, so I want to preface this by saying I'm not an expert in this. This is by no means what I do for a living, but I did follow and watch someone who does this for a living, and again, that's Kyle at RR Buildings on YouTube. Check it out, it's fantastic. He does a great job at getting into the nitty-gritty of these details, which I probably won't. So far, I've done 2 windows, and I have, what, 5 more? Yep, or more because there's doors. I don't know, I haven't figured that out yet. Anyway, 5 more windows, and I'm getting better. The first 2 were rough. The first one was rough. It took a long time. The second one was not so bad. This is my 3rd one, so let's get into it. Okay, so the first one, I'm a true believer in always using actual measurements of things versus measuring and putting it on a tape measure twice. So I'm gonna just throw this up there and put it together. Got my pencil, making little marks at 1 inch. And I totally eyeballed that, but I think I have a pretty good idea of what 1 inch is based on this is 1 inch. So do your best, and I think it's gonna be fine too. I mean, literally you would be making a square at this point. So, got my marks. I'm going to transfer them with my square all the way around. This first one, I actually only need that top, but this is my actual cut line, the second one, and so I'm marking it all the way around. At that point, grab your snips, snippety snips. Cut every line that you made. Okay, ooh, that's nice. Okay, and this is again pro tip from him, but I'll do a pro tip. Once you get this far, just kind of work it until it breaks off, because that's a much cleaner edge than if you were to try to get your snips in there. Now we got that. This next mark that's about 1 inch in, we're just going to cut into like that and like that, and then same thing as before, carefully with a nice crease, just bend it back and forth. You can see that it's almost gonna break off. So it's just a little bit longer and then it breaks off. Look at that. Now you've got a nice straight cut. That's much cleaner than if you were to try to get your snips in there again. Same thing on this side now. Now, does this have to be perfect? No, not really. Really, none of this needs to be perfect. But that is what I strive for, and if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. I'm not gonna fret over it too much, but it's definitely something that I would hope to have over time. Okay, now that we've got this piece, I double check that it lines up to the edge of that, into the edge of that, and it looks great. So I will load a bead of caulk along the bottom of the window, which is already all taped up into the house wrap. So it is sealed, and this is just yet another sealing point. What I have is these little 1-inch roofing nails. Got a big head on it, so that's what I'm using to attach this. Line it up there again. Make sure you like where it is. And then awkwardly hold it in place. First piece in. I don't need to put it in there. This is not going anywhere. Once the siding is in, it's gonna be it's not going anywhere. Something that, again, Kyle says, so this J-trim has an angle out. That's what makes it seem like there's a big gap right here, which there is, but at the back, it's perfectly lined up. So I'm not too worried about that, and that is designed so that if water does get in there, it only comes out versus back in. Next piece. Okay, so I know my measurement needs to be 36 and 37, and cut it at 37 and then do some other work at 36. Now I've got that, I'm gonna cut this first and then measure again. Same thing. Double check this. You can't see the top, but you can just trust me. What I am marking is right where I need to bend it up. Okay, so mark that. And then we have some cuts to make. Okay, so first of all, we cut in to that line. And cut into that line. And then cut a little notch out. Oops. There we go, like that. So this piece right here gets bent down at a 90, because that will go inside our other piece of trim. And then this right here gets cut, and this is what ends up being our miter. So we will go right here up to there. Now again, he explains this better in his video, but this right here is so that expansion and contraction can happen without having another gap. If you were going to point and then to point, then you would always have a little gap where you would see that gap open over time. Now this little hem here needs to be opened up. Just take you see that? Yeah. See how I opened up that hem right there? Right there. And that will slide in. So let's put this in. Yep, that looks like it's gonna slide in there nicely. I'm gonna not do it, just so I don't have to scratch it anymore. Caulk, actually silicone. I don't know, I guess it's still probably considered caulk, but this is 100% silicone. I don't know why I'm using it, other than that's what came in my kit. But I do know why I'm using it, and that is 100% because I'm putting this on Well, it's a beautiful day. It's 53 out today, but it has been super cold, and you can put it in like negative 20 degrees or something. So that's pretty cool. All right. Fit that in there just like that. This is the miter. You can see that it's a little scratched up. A little touch-up paint will do the trick, but that is overhanging. You can see that underneath, that little tab bends in and snip it closed. So not only does that cut it off nice and square, but it also kind of closes in that hem right there. So it shouldn't come out, but it could still expand and contract. All right, so that is one side of the trim. We'll do the same thing to the other side over here. And then that will be what it is until we put the rest of the siding up and then the top piece goes on. Okay, so I'm here working on the trim around the garage door. It's called an L8, which means it's 8 inches wide. So it goes through a 2x6 and then an 1.5 inches and then almost another 1.5 inches, 2x4, which would be 2x6, 5.5 inches, 7, 8.5, 8.5 inches total. Jarrett would be proud of me. Math is hard. Anyway, so there's about a 1/2 inch gap of like 2x4 and house wrap back here, which will be covered up by the weather seal strip. It's probably got a real name. Let's think, what is it called? Let's just call it weather stripping? No, that's like at the bottom of the garage door. Vinyl strip, closure strip. A closer strip? A closer strip. I don't know, it doesn't matter. It's like the little plastic vinyl-y piece that has the little weather strip on it. That's what will go right here. And it's probably about 2.5 inches wide plus the vinyl piece, plus the weather strip piece. And so that'll be what seals the garage door every time it shuts. So there's a little spot there that I can both nail and cover up all that stuff. So then on the outside, so it has a nice trim piece here, which I extended above and then also added 1 inch that I bent in, and then it'll have a simple J-channel trim that'll go all the way around it, and I'll probably stick it off like a 1/8 to 1/4 inch. And then that'll go all the way around it and then even on the top. And then hang over just a little bit. Anyway, so this will be there to hide these nails, and then some nails will go in here, but also it'll probably be adhered by the screws with the sheet metal once that's finally on. So that is kind of what it looks like. So I'm gonna cut that and I'll show you the detail before I get there, and then I'll hang it up. All right, so now you can see my cut edge here and the little bit of a miter on the end. And we'll see how that looks. I'll show you a detailed close-up, and if it works out well, then on the other side, I'll try to show you how I cut it. And again, this is just me flying by the seat of my pants, so take it or leave it. I'm not an expert, and but I am just trying to, I don't know, use common sense and have fun, because that's what I get to do out here at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and I enjoy this. I'm super proud of how this building's coming out, and so I hope you're following along and enjoying the process. Yeah, maybe it looks better than I thought it would. Beautiful snowy day out today. I'm working on the end caps right there where the soffit meets the gable end. I didn't do the trim quite right in the first place, so I'm kind of fixing that right now. I've got the last one over there and I'm gonna show you guys. Extra piece of L4 and then some F&J trim that I've already cut. Looks pretty jagged and janky, but it works pretty well. Well, I don't know, I guess, but I'm thinking it'll work pretty well. Just double checking that I can, you can see what I'm seeing. Okay, so this piece goes up in there. I bend this out a little bit just so I can slide up under there. And then this goes under there. Just like that. Now, it slides down. And that's it right there. Now, I can see this piece right here, because I didn't cut a nice 412 pitch, I guess, then it obviously needs to be trimmed. And I will take that back out to do that. Pop that back in there. Slide it down. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay. And just do some quick relative marking. So I don't want this to go all the way in, but I do want it to go right to there. So that gets gone. Then this can overlap. No, I don't need that to be that long, so I probably won't cut it that long. Like that. This line. And this is where that 412 is. So I need to do a 412 up from here. This will go up in that pocket right there. Just like that. And then back in. Just like that. So see how it goes back into that and up in there. And then that kind of cleans up all of that. I'll put one screw here, which will be covered up by the corner trim. And that's done. Nice and clean on the inside. Again, that'll get covered up by sheathing and then, not sheathing, but metal siding. And then the corner trim all the way up into there and into there. And there you go. Looks good. Okay, so everything's buttoned up, ready for siding. My brother was here yesterday. We did the one long side over there, which I'm rolling the time lapse as we speak. You're seeing it now. You're welcome. The siding so far is going up pretty well. I'm actually very pleased with how it looks. Okay. Whoa! 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 Yes! Whew, that was a third of the way.
I feel so much lighter.
We've used a couple of awls, AWL, awl. It's a tool. It's a little punch thing. We can use it with the hammer. Oh my goodness, we can use it with the hammer. Anyway, we've marked on one sheet where all of the purlins line up all the way up, and we can even use that going around the sides too. Obviously, as it gets to the top there, then we won't be able to, but anyway, punching the holes definitely makes all of the screws perfectly straight across the whole building. And it also, I don't have to self-tap with the screws and mar up the outside of the sheet metal. Okay, come along with me.
Kimmy Nibbler for the win.
Let's see how it fits.
Seems good to me.
Okay, because this is the top. All right, guys. It's cold out, but the sun is shining. It's a clear day, almost. Pretty excited about this day. We are gonna finish the siding. Fingers crossed. Currently it's 25 degrees, so it's not too bad. We've got 3 sides sided. We have this front side to do, which is mostly all cuts because there's so many windows and doors, but that's okay. That's what I wanted. My brother Aaron is gonna be here to help me do all this, and we're gonna see if we can get this finished up today. Would I recommend using an awl to punch all these holes? I don't know, but we did it and it's done. I've enjoyed every part of this for sure, and I hope to do more things like this in the future, but I also am pretty excited about building more furniture pieces and woodworking specific things for this channel. But since we're doing this, if you have any questions, if you're wondering about things or wondering why I chose this over this or whatever it is, leave a comment below, drop a question, whatever it is. Also, I'd love if you would subscribe for more content similar to this, or finishing this out, or just in general woodworking stuff, and you like what I'm doing here on this small acreage that my family's got. Okay, so we had a layout issue that I needed to make sure we fixed, since I pulled all the measurements for the windows off of that side over there. It wasn't gonna line up correctly, so we had to change some things. So now we're back on track. Siding's on everywhere. Pretty happy about it overall. Still need to screw every screw in, which is like a ton of them. The corners don't have anything. This corner you still can see a little bit of house wrap. That will be black corner trim. The same actually trim as the gable trim going up the gable there. Okay, inside here we have the hem trim. You can see that is a little black piece that just goes in the cut edge there, and that is definitely making it look nice. There is a lot of cut edges that don't look very good, but that is what makes it look nice from far away. The last thing I did was right here, you can see I overhang this trim. That way the water runs down and out this side. Look at that. It's me on a bunch of Gerts. September 27th. September 27th. How many days has it been since September 27th?
It was 100 days ago.
100 days! It took me 100 days! What? 100 days! Woo! This took me 100 days. On Monday, I'll find out if it's final inspected and approved, stamped, whatever they do, I don't know, but stay tuned. It's right now. This building has final inspection! Boom! It's approved. This building is done. I'm done with this thing. Now, let's get to the inside.